Hello and welcome to the Red Bull Ring here in Austria, where we have just concluded the most extraordinary MotoGP race. Just when you think things are going plain sailing, there's a twist and a turn. I can't quite believe what we've witnessed here, Simon Crafart. Brad Binder has won the Austrian Grand Prix here with slicks on a wet track with no brakes left. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Where do we even begin here? I mean, this is just an extraordinary race, because had it have stayed dry, we should just point out that this result certainly wouldn't have been this way.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, you've brought up Brad first. There's a bunch of guys we need to talk about first who would have been on the podium. But before anyone says that Brad was just lucky today, I'm going to say I'm laughing at you. No way. With those spits of rain, he was already in contention enough to make ground on these guys and be brave enough to catch them, because when they peeled in, him and Aleix were with them. And then what he did over the next couple of laps, he said the next lap wasn't so bad, but when the tyres cooled off because of too much water, this is what I was terrified. I've never been so scared for a rider that was still on the bike. I've always been this scared if they've had a massive crash and I'm hoping they're all right. I was terrified for him because he had the hard front on. It's famous for being a touch and go when the temperature drops in the dry. And he's out there in the rain. And then he stayed on with that. The brakes went a lap or so later, or half a lap later. What he did, I honestly think, was absolutely incredible to be able to stay on the bike, because everyone else that has got experience behind, you know, couldn't do what he did. It was truly amazing, because they dropped well back into the hands of the guys on the wets. Yeah, what Brad did was incredible.
I think there's so many elements to that race that you have to admire Brad for, particularly as you just mentioned when the raindrops started coming down. There were two other men on the podium in the end. Very eventful race for Pecco Bagnaia and Jorge Martin. I believe Jorge Martin is ready to stand by and have a few words with Matt Burt. He's on the podium again. The rookie is third of the season. What an extraordinary race. Down to you, Matt.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Steve. What an amazing race. What an amazing 7 days for Jorge Martin. 2 pole positions. His first win in MotoGP, in a third place, Jorge, in a truly incredible MotoGP race. Everybody will be talking about the big gamble that Brad Binder took to stay out on slick tyres. But I think you also, let's go back to the start of the race, you took a big gamble as well, because you switched to the hard front slick tyre. You'd never tried it at all weekend.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, today I saw all the riders were going with the hard front, and I said, okay, today is hot, I will take the gamble. And at the beginning I felt quite okay, quite competitive, but then a lot of riders were really aggressive, like Quartararo, also my teammate Marquez. But even though I could be there in the front, and yeah, as soon as I tried to overtake Pecco, I went wide, and then my race was done in that moment, I think, because being behind, I had a lot of overheating in the front, and I was losing the front every corner. So then, when they had a bit gap of 1 second, I felt better and I was recovering time, so quite confident in that moment. And then the raindrops started, no? So yeah, in that moment I took my risk, because I said, okay, if I want the podium, I need to take the risk. And I was quite okay with the condition. I felt good grip, even if it was raining. But then when we arrived to the third sector and it was completely raining and wet, we decided to stop. I saw Marquez stop and I said, okay, we go in. Then the flag to flag, I was a bit nervous and I made a mistake. I was a bit aggressive, and maybe I lost a bit of time, but even though I was in third position as soon as we exit. And yeah, with the wet tires was so difficult, but for sure was more difficult with the dry. So happy to take I take the risk, happy that I finished on the podium. And yeah, last lap was great. I overtook like 7, 8 riders in 3 corners. I was pushing to my maximum. And yeah, I thought I was maybe 5th, 6th, so when I crossed the finish line, I saw that I was on the podium. I was completely crazy, even more than last week. And yeah, for sure now I have to rest a bit, try to understand what happened in the last 2 weeks, because, I mean, 3 podiums in 7 races and three pole positions. So, I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, not a bad week, I think
Not
it's
a
fair
bad
to say. Jorge, when the rain started to fall really quite heavy on the slick tyres, we know how tricky that can be. Were you always going to pull into the pits at that time, or were you basing your judgment on Marc Marquez because he was at the front of that group, and we know Marc is the master at deciding when to come in a flag to flag?
For sure, it was based on Marquez because I'm a rookie. I need the experience. At the beginning of the race already, it started raining a lot. I mean, not a lot, but quite much. And I let him pass for the second position because I thought, okay, maybe if he stops, I will try. But then it was almost dry all the race. And yeah, for sure, when he stopped, I say, okay, it's the moment. We saw other riders that were continuing, but you have to take the gamble. If I continue, maybe I crashed. So finishing the podium is enough for me, and I'm super happy.
And what about that bike swap? That was pretty lively as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was so nervous. I was thinking maybe I can overtake Fabio or Pecco or whatever. And I was too aggressive in the braking. I jumped a bit aggressive, and then I pushed the other bike, so I lost a bit of time. I hope my team is okay because they told me like one mechanic had a bit of pain, not a lot. So I hope he's okay. And yeah, I will meet them now and celebrate.
It's been a fantastic week here, Jorge. An incredible race today. Just your quick thoughts on Silverstone. That's a really fast technical circuit. It will be difficult on a MotoGP bike, but you must go there with so much confidence after these last 7 days.
I mean, I'm confident. Silverstone is one of my favorite tracks. I love this track. I mean, since I'm young, from Moto3, I'm super fast there. So for sure, Ducati is fast now, and also in fast corners we are fast, and we will enjoy, I think.
Incredible race to watch.
Thank you.
Incredible skill and bravery. Well done, Jorge. We'll see you in Silverstone in a
Thank you,
couple
mate.
of time.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks very much, Matt. Well done to Jorge Martin. Let's not forget, he is a rookie. That's his first ever flag-to-flag race. He was injured for Le Mans when we had our last flag-to-flag race as well. And he was another, Simon, who looked like he might have been out of contention, actually, in the closing stages for a podium. But once the raindrops started falling, as he just mentioned, he took a risk and he managed to close up to become a part of the group ultimately that would contend. I also just want to get your opinion on, although it seems logical, it's a wet track, go out on wet tyres, how difficult is it to do this, in your opinion, to swap from the slicks to the wet bike? Not all of the circuit is wet, and you've got to try and find your limit immediately.
I mean, the circuit was wet when they went out, on wet tyres. Not when Jack went out, Jack and Rins, no. But when they went out, it was wet. And to answer your question, Marc fell off in it. Their best in those conditions. So you're talking super tricky condition. It can feel a bit greasy when it doesn't get properly wet. You just like on the streets or the roads, how it's not enough to clean it. It just makes it wet and it can be greasy. The thing is, I've got to say, Jorge Martin, to throw all of that at a rookie, and he's never experienced it, he survived. He had to manage, the slipstreaming, overheating the front slick. Then he dropped back and recovered and came back again. Then did raindrops, stayed competitive. Then in the rain, ends up on the podium, his first ever flag to flag. The guy is class.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone's doubting that in this room at the moment. It's time to now cross back over to Matt because he's with the man who finished in second. Yes, okay, I'm sure he would have loved the win here in Austria today, but a podium for his efforts in a crazy race. I'm sure he's delighted. Pecco Bagnaia is with Matt.
It was indeed a crazy race. I'm delighted to say Pecco Bagnaia came through it to take a fantastic second place. Pecco, let's talk about the dry part of the race because you were so strong. You were leading for so many laps. How hard was it to keep at the front because it was pretty hard battles going on behind you?
Yeah, I know that it's coming. Our first victory, I know. We deserve it for the hard work we are doing. But in any case, I'm happy about today. We did the maximum possible. It was a difficult choice, switching the bike, but was the correct one, I think. Just Brad did something incredible in the last laps with all this wet condition and with slick. It was maybe a lot more in front, and was incredible what he did. But I finished first from of the riders with rain tires. Marc was leading, but had a crash that I was very close to do the same, because it was very difficult to put on temperature the rain tires. We did it. I'm happy about that. But we are close. I won this win. Also the team won this win. The only good thing is that we have closed the gap from Fabio and to Fabio, and I think that with this result we have more confidence to fight for it.
I just want to I want you to talk us through a quite incredible last lap. I think you came over the line in 8th place. You were 10 seconds, a long way back from first. I mean, talk us through that last lap and the difference between you and the guys on tyres.
A big difference because I had the grip, they know, but them no. But I was not thinking to finish on the podium today. I was angry, a lot angry before the finish line. But then when I see that I was overtaking, I tried to count the riders that I was overtaking, but I finished count when I was 4th because then I was too fast. But in any case, we did the perfect job today.
So on the last lap, you didn't really have any clear idea of where you were because there was a lot of riders that did stay out on slick tyres. I mean, you must have thought one stage Luca was going to be maybe on the podium.
Well, Luca was, but 5th and Vale 8th.
Yeah.
They did also something good, incredible. Luca finished 5th, so I'm very happy for him.
You know how difficult those conditions were on the rain tyres, so what can you say about Brad Binder, that brave decision? I mean, it was so incredibly difficult to manage.
Crazy completely. It's something that only can do Jack or Brad from now. Because I was already 2 laps before with a bit of wet. I was struggling. I was following Mark that I have let him pass because in this situation he's always very strong, so I let him pass to stay with him. But decide to remain with slick tyres was a crazy decision for sure.
You rode a fantastic race today, Pecco. I'm sure that first win is not too far away. Huge congratulations, 2nd place
Thank you very much.
in Austria. We'll see you in Silverstone.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Thanks to Pecco Bagnaia there. It is on its way, that first race win, Simon. I think we all knew from last week that if everything fell right, Pecco would be competitive. In a way, you've got to feel sorry for him that the rain started to fall because he was certainly in the mix. So I think it's just deserved, you know, that he is actually eventually on the podium in any case.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The more I know him, the more I like him. You know, that interview was great. He said a couple of really honest things. I love, first of all, I'd like to say my gut feeling, my money was on him to win today, right up until it stopped and everyone came in, you know. The reason is I think he had a little bit left in his pocket and he was on the medium rear tyre, Mark on the soft. I know Mark Mark was all over the back of him. I really think he was going to be the winner today. That's my gut feeling. So, yeah, he so deserves to be on the podium, which he is. Just wanted to comment the 2 things I loved he said there. I was giving Brad the credit he deserved because it was something amazing. The other thing, I think he's dead right when he said he did the perfect job. Apart from Brad's crazy what he did, Pecco did the perfect job and he would have won. He was great in the dry, looking like winning, and then the best of everyone that changed to wet. So hats off to Pecco. And he's going to win, for sure.
I think it is on the way, but today only belongs to one person. The bravest man in Austria is our hero, Brad Binder, the race winner here in Austria, now with Matt.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Steve.
The last 2 laps, no breaks.
Congratulated actually by 8 times world champion Marc Marquez. They're just having a little discussion. Mark himself put up a fantastic fight. Yeah, Brad, I've no idea actually even where to start talking about that incredible Austrian Grand Prix. Insane bravery, insane skill from you, mate. I mean, we can talk about the first part of the race, but there's only really the last 3 or 4 laps that are really so important. How on earth did you do that?
Yeah, when I saw everyone tipping into the pits, I saw an opportunity, and I decided I'd rather risk it and crash, or then maybe get top 5. It's a big Grand Prix for us, big Grand Prix for KTM, for Red Bull, and I've won here in Moto2, and I know what it's like to win here at their home Grand Prix. And to do it in MotoGP is an unbelievable feeling. Huge gamble, but I'm really glad it paid off.
were you ever thinking about coming in? I mean, obviously the 5 guys in front of you did peel in. I mean, there must have been some thought process when the rain was starting to get heavy that you were tempted, or were you always just thinking, I'm going to roll the dice and go for it?
I knew that when there's 3 laps to go, so if I didn't come in when they did, I wasn't going to come in at all. And yeah, I made it to the end somehow. The biggest problem was no brakes. No brakes because the carbon brakes went cold, and as soon as the rear tire cooled off, obviously I couldn't open the throttle either. So somehow I made it around the track, and a couple times I thought it was over, but I kept it up straight. So so happy this gamble paid off.
That was, I think it was a 150, your last lap. You're not going to do too many slow laps than that around Austria and still win the Grand Prix. I mean, just talk us through that last lap, the emotions that were coming with the win so close, and just how difficult and tough it was to make sure you stayed upright.
The hardest thing for me was the last lap because I knew I had 9 seconds to second place. But 9 seconds is not enough when you're on slicks and they're on wets. So I don't know whether the guy behind me had wets or slicks. So I decided, you know what, I have to just try and go as quick as I can. And actually, if I had not tried at all, I think I would have gone faster because I went off in turn 1, then stayed on track after that, but barely because I couldn't stop when I had to, and I couldn't open the throttle either. But anyway, it worked, so I don't really care.
Last weekend, when your brother Darren opted to run the slick tyres on a drying circuit in Moto3, after the race, he said, the old man Trevor's always told us, he's always drilled into us, fortune favours the brave. I mean, how much of your dad's influence was out there today? Looked like quite a lot.
Yeah, one of my dad's favourite sayings is life favours the brave, so for sure today it did. And yeah, one thing for sure is I remember my brother telling me there was good grip in the wets, even on the slicks. So that had a lot to do with my decision today. And the last lap, I beg to differ with his what he had to say about the grip levels. But anyway, to make it home and cross the line and come first was unbelievable. So happy.
Just before we let you go and celebrate, Brad, I mean, this must just give you a huge lift and a big platform to build on for the remaining races. We know that this is your second season, you're gaining experience. We can see recently the KTM has taken big steps forward as well with its machine performance. So this kind of result will give you a real big boost going into the final part of the season, won't it?
Sure, I really need it today. I mean, I was craving a podium. You know, it's been so long. I don't remember when last I'd gone a year without standing on the podium. And last night, all I wanted was to leave today with a podium. And if I had pitted, I don't think I would have, or it would have been a lot harder. So we came out on top today. I'm super happy about it, and let's see you next week.
I've heard so many words already. I think Marc Marquez said crazy. I've heard insane, brilliant, brave. I think all those words perfectly encapsulate your performance today, Brad. Astonishing performance. Congratulations. Remarkable.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks very much, Matt. What a job from Brad Binder here today. One of the most likeable characters. The Binder boys in general are loved by most people in the paddock. But that's just a fantastic story for KTM as well. And he really did need that because he's been a couple of times knocking on the door of a podium and it's not quite worked out. Yeah,
the guy is so hungry, isn't he? I mean, all races are, but I think Brad shows a extreme level of hunger. And, you know, it was really sad to see this dry race that was going to be good come right down to the wire, I think, not happen. But I'm very glad I witnessed something like I've never seen anything like it. So,
now, if the race had stayed dry, Simon, there's a few other people we obviously need to mention. Joan Mir was coming on strong towards the end. He might have been able to fight Jorge Martin. Quartararo will feel bitterly disappointed with how the day panned out because he had a very busy race, but he was always there.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up about the dry race because there were clear. Very impressive rides in there. Like Pecco Bagnaia, we've already gone through him. Magic, he did the perfect day. I think he kept managing tyres, ready for an attack at the end. I think stunning job from Pecco. The thing is, he had 2 guys on his tail that, first of all, Mark, coming back from an injury, I'm sorry, Honda, but probably be my last choice of bike. If I had to, was a young guy and had to go and battle everyone. Nobody else on a Honda there. Mark was doing something special, you know. Amazing. It's sad we didn't get to see what he could do at the end.
And only the only person to gamble on the soft as well, the soft rear.
Yeah, and I don't think he would have if he'd known that it was going to go dry the whole way. You know what I'm saying. He would have gone medium. That was his choice. Then Quartararo, what a job. He's turned up, because you look at the job overall, like I am, he's turned up at a track that is a disaster for Yamaha, arguably the worst track, and working with the engineers who love him, he keeps them happy. Then to pull off what looked surely to be a dry podium here, battle with those guys, I think hats off, very, very good. And he did, and even in the end, those bad conditions, salvage something. He didn't fall off, horrible conditions. Yeah, the guy is really matured this year. Incredible job, He's doing what no one else can do, even on the Yamaha this year. So very, very cool.
We're not going to have time to kind of go into the details of everybody who finished the final part of the race. Congratulations to people like Luca Marini, etc. I mean, that is phenomenal.
I want to throw in, amazing job from Luca. That'll give him encouragement for the future. The big danger when I look down, fourth, Mir, the title danger again. He's just the quiet, working away.
He's pulled a few
always
points,
there,
of course.
And he another danger.
Couple of riders who will be disappointed with how things gone. One's on screen there, Jack Miller. He came in early to change to the wets, and on another day that could have paid off. It didn't ultimately. Rins did exactly the same thing. Johann Zarco, costly error early in the race, and how the race panned out as well. He might well have fancied his chances.
Yeah, you did right. Jack, I mean, clearly, because two of them did it, it clearly looked like it was on the way, the big rain, and they thought, let's get in before these guys and we'll make, and it was still dry in pit lane, so they obviously saw something earlier on the higher point of the track. They thought it was going to rain because we didn't see it in pit lane. Yes, he'll be disappointed. Then Rins did the same thing. Zarco, he'll be the one beating himself up tonight, I think. I don't exactly know why. Maybe he'd done the overheating front tyre like Jorge and it let him down. But he will be the one, I think, really kick himself tonight, because lost a big opportunity, yeah.
Okay, I think that's all we've got time for. The riders have made their way into the press conference. We'll try and pick the bones out of this one when we return to the British Grand Prix in a couple of weeks' time. Simon, thanks as ever for all of your hard work. Thanks to Matt as well. There's a big round of applause, as you can imagine, going on here for the race winner, Brad Binder. It's time to sign off from After the Flag. Thanks for joining us here this weekend. We'll see you at Silverstone.